Hang on, let me wipe off my screen. Okay. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Mm, mm, mm. There's nothing better than some protein coffee. And it really does have protein in it. Got my vodka. Okay. Where do I want to begin? Okay, I'll update you on Monday. So at 11:30 Monday, Shane took me to the ENT to have my other tube taken out. And over the phone, the nurse told me I had two options. First option is to put numbing medicine in my ear, which caused vertigo last time in hospitalization, or to do it cold turkey. And I had decided to do it cold turkey. I was like, I've been through worse things. If the pain only lasts a second, I can do this. So when I got in there, I made Shane go back in the room with me. I said, "You're gonna have to hold my head because I'm probably gonna jerk. And I don't want him to puncture my eardrum." I said, "Just come in there and hold my head." So when the doctor came in there, he said, "I can't do it cold turkey. I'm going to have to do a nerve block." What's that? Like what? And he goes, "I'm going to have to give you a nerve block." And I said, "What's that consist of?" And he said, "I'm going to have to put a shot in your nerve in your ear." I said, "Like down my ear or like right here?" He goes, "No, I'm going to have to run the needle down your ear to the nerve to give you a nerve block." I'm sitting here going, I'd rather do it cold turkey than have a shot ran down my ear to my nerve. But I will tell you, I was doing what he said, and I just laid there. And he was like, "Okay, a little bit of pressure." I didn't feel nothing. And then he goes, "Okay, this is going to be some burning." I didn't feel nothing. I didn't even know there was a needle down my ear. Nothing hurt. And then after he got done, I could tell my ear was immediately numb. I didn't feel a darn thing. And then he goes, "There's a bunch of earwax in here I'm gonna have to get clean out." I was like, "Okay." I didn't feel a thing. And then he said, "Okay, I'm gonna take the tube out." I feel nothing. I was like, "Dang, I wish you'd have done the nerve block on the first one. It was so much easier." So anyway, the tube was out, and Shane kind of gave the doctor "You need to do something. Like, she's off balance sometimes." Like, Shane really, I was really surprised. He really took up for me. And the doctor said, "What I want to do is an MRI, an extensive MRI of her ears to see where the pressure is coming from." So today at 1 o'clock, I'm having that MRI. And my next appointment with the doctor is in 5 weeks. But he said that he's going to call me over the telephone and tell me the results of the MRI. But he said it would tell him where my pressure is coming from in my ears. And he said, "Judy, I hate to tell you, it's not your tubes." And I said, "Okay." But what's happening right now is the weirdest feeling in the whole wide world. I will be normal. Like right now, I'm completely normal. And then my ear, I feel, all of a sudden, I feel pressure in my ears and my ear will pop. And then I go completely deaf, like completely deaf in this ear. And then I will be deaf for like, I'd say 15, 20 minutes. And then my ear pops and I can hear again. So I'm dealing with that. And I will tell you to please have mercy upon me when watching my YouTube videos, because trying to edit sound when you're deaf, it's like, I hope this isn't too loud. I hope they can hear this. It's been, last night was my first night to edit a video. Now, granted, you're not going to see that video till next week. I think next Saturday. I'm not really sure. But I'm like, so what I did was edit a video, send it to a friend, and go, is this janked up? Because I can't hear. My hearing is not right. It's weird feeling. So that is what's going on with me. And we're just going to take one day at a time. But this is the problem. You know how when your doctor tells you he thinks he knows, I mean, no. You know how when your doctor throws around, it could be this, it could be this, it could be this. Well, he was telling Shane he does not think it's Meniere's disease because I have it in both ears. Meniere's disease typically only affects one ear. It doesn't mean it can't be Meniere's disease, but it's very rare that you would have Meniere's disease in both ears. So he's leaning towards it could be something else. So he said, like, I don't know, 5 different diagnoses, and they were words I've never heard in my life, and I couldn't like recall what I couldn't repeat what he said, right? The only thing that I was able to retain was there was one diagnosis that he explained. And the explaining was this. He said, well, there is something called blah, 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 blah. And it's where your spinal cord makes too much spinal fluid. And that spinal fluid goes to your head and causes pressure in your ears. That's all he said. But he didn't say I had that. He named that when he was naming like 5 different diagnoses. That's just the only thing that I was able to retain. Okay. So Shane and I got in the car. And I said, what did you hear? He goes, well, the only thing I understood was about the spinal cord. I said, me too. So me and Shane are in the car driving down the road. What do? You Google it, right? So I Googled what diagnosis is when your spinal cord makes too much spinal fluid and the pressure goes to your ears. What is that called? And it told me the diagnosis. And I said, that's exactly what he said. So then I did the unthinkable that we all do. And I said, well, what is the treatment for it? And I began to read the treatment for it. And I was like, Shane, oh my God. I said, he was like, what does it say? And I was like, I'm not saying it out loud because I'm scared it'll happen. He was like, what does it say? Now, it did say severe cases. I don't know if mine's considered a severe case. I am off balance in time, and I've almost fell multiple times in my farm. So maybe that's severe. I don't know. But it said they have to do brain surgery and put a shunt in your head to shunt the fluid down to your stomach. I was like, crap, no. Ain't nobody touching this brain of mine. I'll just sit here and suffer. But then what happens when you Google and you read that? Well, then you worry, right? Y'all know how this works. You know, if you have a headache and you Google, I have a headache, it has you having a brain tumor, right? And then you're like, oh my God, I got a brain tumor. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I had to sit there and I had to pull a tool out of my pocket. And the tool that I pulled out of my pocket, I said, Shane, I need a minute. And he was like, okay. I said, I got to pull a tool out of my pocket. He was like, okay. I said, I got to check the facts. And I said, did the doctor tell you that you have this? Did he say, Judy, you have this and we're going to have to do brain surgery? Okay. No, he did not say that. Okay. So Judy, let this go. You've got it on Google and it's not a fact. It's not a fact. So quit worrying about it. So I was able to get past it and laugh at myself and go, God, get off Google. Get off of it. So I've been okay now. So we're going to take one day at a time. The thing is, when my ears are bad, it is terrible. It is absolutely terrible. You should see me out at the farm trying to do animals. I look like I have drank too much. But when I'm good, like right now, I'm good. I'm good. So we're just going to take one day at a time. One day at a time. Today, I want to try to talk about, did you hear me say try? You know, when I go live, I don't practice what I'm going to say. It just, whatever comes out of this trap of mine is just what comes out. I just feel like God gives me the words to say. Because sometimes when I get off my live, I'm like, what did I even say? And sometimes I'll go back and watch my live. I'm like, God is good. How did I even come up with that? Because like sometimes I don't even really know what I'm going to talk about. Or sometimes I think I know I'm going to talk about, and then I go into a totally different direction and talk about something else. And it's like, I really feel like that what's said is something that needs to be said, even if it's for myself or one person out there. I feel like God gives me the strength to get up every single Monday and Wednesday and go live at 7 a.m. and talk about hard subjects that most people don't talk about. And God gives me the strength to do it. And I'm thankful. I have talked a little bit about this, and I have to be careful talking about it because I went through this program. I went through. I'm trying to think how to say it. I went through this program many years ago, called Alanon. But in Alanon, they talk to you about, I can't find my eyebrow thing. They talk to you about, like privacy and things like that, and not, they just don't like you to talk about, I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to go into that. But so I want to be careful what I say because I don't want to go against any guidelines or anything. But I will tell you that let me tell you what Alanon is, first of all, because a lot of people don't know what that is. But Alanon is a program. You've heard of AA. Most people have heard of AA. It's a 12-step program for people with addiction, and they take you through the steps. Well, Alanon, believe it or not, when you have addiction in your family, you're caught up in chaos. If you've ever lived with someone or been around someone or have a loved one of someone that has addiction, you're caught up in it. It depends on how close you are to that person. Maybe it was your father or mother or sister, brother, child, spouse. But if you currently live in the house or ever lived in the house with someone with addiction, you live in total chaos. So if you were the child of a parent that was an alcoholic, like me, because my dad was an alcoholic. I don't know where any of my makeup is. My dad was an alcoholic. My grandfather was an alcoholic. My uncle was an alcoholic. My brother was an alcoholic. I could just like, it's just like addiction is all in my family. And so I had a loved one that was in rehab and sober living. And the sober living facility said, I was trying to be supportive. And they said, well, you're not allowed to see your loved one unless you go through the 12 steps. And I was like, what the crap did I do? You know what I'm saying? Like, why do I have to go through these steps? I hadn't done shiitake mushrooms. Like, what the heck? But I am the type of person that has been in therapy my whole entire life. So, like, it didn't really, I was like, I'll go. I don't need it, but I mean, I go to counseling every single week. Yeah, like you don't understand. Like I have a therapist that I've been with forever, and you think I need to go to Alanon? Like I take medication. I am like I'm good. But they were like, in order for you to see your family member, you have to go to Alanon. Okay, I'll go. So I remember going to the first meeting. I was like, this is so stupid. Like, why do we have to go through the 12 steps when we ain't the alcoholic or the person on drugs? Like, why don't we get step one? You know? But at this time, I really wanted to see my loved one. So I was like, I guess I got to go through these stupid meetings, every week, even though I go to counseling because I want to see my loved one. Well, after a couple of weeks, I started learning something. And I was like, well, I've never really thought about this. And it dug up a lot of feelings and memories of being a child living with parents that were in addiction. So it took me, I wasn't just concentrating on this one person, which was the reason I went. It brought up, wow, I have been through heck. I have been through so much that I haven't dealt with. And so one thing that they do is they encourage finding a sponsor. And I'm sitting there thinking in my head, I don't know none of these people, because at the time it was when it was COVID. And at first, when I started first going, I was going to meetings in person, but then COVID hit and everything was Zoom meetings. So like, I was like, how am I supposed to find a sponsor when I don't even know any of these people? I don't even want to do this really. Like, this is painful, but I wanted to see my loved one. So I was like, I got to do this. I got to do this. And the more that I went, the more that I realized that I did need a sponsor, because I was hurting really badly. and I was living in chaos. And there was so much PTSD from the fact that grandfather was an alcoholic, uncle, brother, it just kept going. Dad, it just kept going. And I was like, wow, I am really janked up. And I remember calling, I don't know if I called the main headquarters, but I was like, how do I find a sponsor? What does that even consist of? Like, so they gave me a couple of names of some people that are sponsors. And sponsors are people just like me that have lived in addiction and their whole life, or had loved ones in addiction, and they had already worked the whole 12 steps, and they kind of one-on-one with you work the steps. So you go to meetings where there's a group of people, but then you meet with a sponsor and you're one-on-one and go, okay, we're going to work these 12 steps together. Well, I kept finding myself wanting to hurry up through it. Like, let's just do the 12 steps and get it over with, And I remember she kept me in step 1 forever. I'm talking probably 6 months. I was like, can't we go to step 2? Haven't I passed step 1? Like, what the heck? And I just wanted to graduate. I was looking for the certificate. Like, let me get the certificate and go on. But she wouldn't let me do that. And I remember I kept wanting to talk about the stories, like how terrible it was. Like, you don't understand. Let me just tell you, what's happening. And I realized, I've talked about this with my own mental health. Like, you want to tell your story. You want to have validation that someone understands and that you're not crazy, or you just want to be heard. Like, a lot of times people with mental health, you're like, you don't understand. Let me tell you about how I grew up, or you want to tell them what's happening to you. And you really, as you're telling the story, you're sitting there bawling your eyes out because it's horrible. Like, you're like, oh, wait till I tell you this story. Let me tell you what they did today. It's like you want to tell your story. And I kept doing that. I kept wanting to tell my story. And my sponsor kept going, what step are you in? As I was going through the steps, tell me what step you're in. I'm like, here we go. It's like, I just wanted to tell my story. You tell me I'm going to tell you the story. You tell me how to fix it. I will fix it. If you tell me what to do, I will fix him. I just tell me what to do. We go to counseling, and that's how we go to counseling. You tell me what to do to fix it. You tell me, let's say you go to counseling for marital problems. Okay, here's the story. This is what my husband does, or this is what my wife does. You tell me how to fix it, and I will go do it. And it doesn't work like that. And it took me a long time to realize that my counselor or my sponsor was not going to give me the answer. And I'm like, for the longest time, why am I here? If you're not going to tell me how to fix it, why am I here? Like I just need to fix him. like, don't you understand? If you would help me fix this one thing about her or him, I'll be good. This is the only problem we have in our marriage. If we could fix this one thing, I think I would be happy. And you go to counseling and you pay your little copay and you're like, you leave counseling, you're like, I don't feel any better because the same crap's happening. I go home and it's the same crap. And it's not getting better. And that's why people give up on therapy or sponsorship or whatever you're going through because it's not getting better. I can't fix it. You're not telling me what to do. This counseling is not working. And that, my child, is step one. And then you realize, wait a minute, you can't tell me how to fix this? I just need to know how to put a Band-Aid on it and fix it. Honey, you can't fix it. It is that day that you hit step one is a slap in the face. Because you want to just fix your marriage, or you just want to fix your child, or you want to fix your family. I just want to fix it. I want to have a normal family, or I want to have a normal marriage. My husband's an alcoholic. Just tell me how to get him better. Do I leave him? Because I remember sitting in therapy and people were like, I'm not sure what, I have a spouse that's an alcoholic, been an alcoholic for 15 years, and I can't decide if I need to stay or leave. And am I enabling him by staying? Should I just leave? Like, people who are looking for solutions. And people would go to dead silence when somebody would say that. Because everybody in the room that worked the program would be like, she's in step one. She's looking for solutions. And it's heartbreaking to watch family members looking for solutions to fix their loved one. And I remember I was that person. And I remember after the meeting, this sweet lady pulled me off to the side in a room. And she goes, share with me your pain. And I was sitting there telling her every story that I had been through. And she held my hand and she was like, we can't fix it. Why am I here? If we can't fix this, why am I here? Why am I wasting my time? And I left there that day going, this is horrible. This is absolutely horrible that I can't fix this. So how am I supposed to live knowing I can't fix it? I can remember, oh Lord, I'm going to start crying. I can remember parents coming in there. And I will tell you that watching a parent deal with addiction is by far the saddest thing I have ever seen in my life. Those parents were looking for solutions to fix their children. And I can remember like some of them were like young children, like teenagers, and the parents, had to live because teenagers living at home. And I can remember watching like the parents just sit there and bawl their eyes out. I've tried to ground them. I've taken their cell phone away. I've taken them to counseling. I put them in rehab. Nothing's working. Like, help me. I'm drowning over here. I literally cannot breathe. I am living in the house with this teenager that I can't fix. That was tough to sit there and watch. These parents, these moms, these dads just reach out for help. Do I kick them out? What do I do? And all you can do in your head is go, you're at step 1. You can't fix it. Can't put them in rehab. You can't kick them out. You can't take their cell phone away. You can't do anything. You have to sit and watch it. And I remember this one lady, she got up and did her testimony. And she wasn't a spouse. She was a parent of a child. And she got up and did her testimony. And this is how she described being a mother of an addict. I got to put on makeup and not cry on this one, right? Scout's honor, I'm not going to cry. Okay. Because listening to her testimony was powerful. She said, it's like every day I'm stepping into this horror movie. And as I go into the movie theater to watch this movie, I'm sitting in the theater all by myself. And I don't like horror movies, but I'm forced to watch this movie. And as I sit in the auditorium or whatever it's called, the movie theater, and I'm watching this movie unfold, as certain scenes come on to the movie theater, I feel scared and I yell. And everyone in the movie theater is telling me to shut up, that I'm crazy for yelling out. I shouldn't be scared. So as I sit in the movie theater, I start feeling like this because everyone's yelling at me that I'm crazy or that I don't know what I'm talking about or I'm making up stories because I'm watching this horror movie and I feel scared and nobody else is scared. Everybody else is enjoying the horror movie. And I'm sitting there in a ball, scared to death because I have no idea how this movie's going to end. I don't know if it's going to end in death. I don't know if it's going to end in the person's in jail. I don't know how. Like it's the scariest movie I've ever watched in my life, and I'm forced to sit in this movie theater and watch this horror movie by myself. And I feel like I'm literally drowning. And as I sit scared to death in this movie theater, it's freezing cold in there. And I'm shaking. I'm cold. And I didn't bring a jacket with me. And it's almost like I'm locked into this seatbelt that I can't get out because As I sit and watch this horror movie, it's like I'm wanting to escape and run out of the theater because I'm scared to death. But they won't let me out. The doors are locked into this theater, and I have to sit and not get up. And I'm freezing and I'm watching this horror movie. And as things go on, I don't want to watch. And it's like I want to close my eyes like this, and I can't. Because if I close my eyes like this, people go, "Oh my God, she's overreacting. She is so drama queen. She's making up stories, and I have to unfold my hands and sit and watch this movie, and I'm scared to death." I have to sit and shut up and shake because I'm freezing to death. And as I look around the theater, I'm like, why is no one else feeling this but me? Why am I the only one scared? And you just sit there because you can't talk. Because if you talk, everyone around you is screaming, "Shut up and watch the movie." Or they're telling you that you're crazy. Or you should have brought a jacket. So you have to sit in this horror movie and watch it and not say a word. And you want to look over to your neighbor and go, "This movie is scaring me to death." But your neighbor doesn't want to hear you talk. They want to watch the movie. Because in a movie, when you're watching a movie, no one wants you to talk in the theater. And imagine never being able to leave the movie. You're having to sit and watch this over and over and over and over and over again. Ooh. Have you ever watched a scary movie that brought you in tears? You weren't able to talk and you weren't able to leave the movie? That's what that parent felt like, living in the house with a teenager with addiction. Until until she hit step 1. And step 1 was, I can't fix this. How do I get out of this horror movie when the main character is my kid? That lady, her words were powerful. I guess I should stop putting on my makeup. How do you get out of a horror movie that you're strapped into and can't talk and are forced to watch, and you don't know the ending to the horror movie? You don't know if it's going to end in jail, someone's dead. You have no clue how the story ends. How do you get out of the movie when it's all around you? You're at step 1. And as this mother continued to tell her testimony, everything seemed so foreign to her. When they said, "You've got to love from a distance." When someone says that to you, like this lady was like, I just want to slap them and go, "Dude, this is my kid. You don't love at a distance." Like, do you understand? Like, I am a mother. Like, it don't work that way. I mean, maybe as a spouse, maybe you understand, or if it's your dad, or maybe you can love at a distance if it's your dad or mom or like something like that. But when it's your own child, what does love at a distance even mean? And the lady was like, it means you're at step 1. You can't fix it. And the lady was talking about, she said, but mamas put Band-Aids on their kids' boo-boos. Mama can fix anything. Mama has eyes in the back of her head. Mama can fix anything. But why can't mama fix this? How does mom get out of the horror movie? And this lady, as she began to talk about it, she said, that you had no idea this was going to be a tissue, did you? She said she had to go work the program. And she said it took her like 5 years to work the program to learn how to walk out of the movie theater. To learn that she didn't cause it. There's nothing she did as a mother to cause it. You know, she can't control it. She can't fix it. You're never going to fix this. You're never going to fix your spouse. You're never going to fix your dad. You're never going to fix your mom. And that is so depressing to think. If you tell me, because I'm a fixer, you tell me what to do, I'll do exactly what I will check off the list, and I'll do exactly what you do to fix my marriage. I will go to the ends of the earth to fix him, because I don't want to get a divorce. I want to fix him or her, or whoever. Like, just tell me what to do. That's what moms do. That's what women do. You tell me how to fix her and how to have this perfect marriage, and everything will be good. And we will live happily ever after with our white picket fence around our house. And when you learn that there is no solution to fix them, the person you have to fix is yourself and how you deal with it, then it becomes hard work. Then it's game on, because the person you have to fix, it's easy to try to fix him or whatever. But when you realize the person that you have to fix is you, and you're like, well, why don't I have to fix me? It's him that has the addiction problem. You have to fix you. And that's when it's game on. And it took that lady 5 years. Well, actually, if I had to guess, it took her longer than that, because I don't know when her son's addiction started, But if I had to guess, it was probably early on, because most people don't start with, let's just say, meth or heroin or cocaine or whatever. They start with marijuana or drinking, and it just keeps escalating. So I'm pretty sure that this has lasted longer than, because it took her forever to get to step one, to realize, wait a minute, I can't fix him. I know, but he's fixing to graduate and he's leaving the home and I can't take his cell phone away. No, ma'am, you sure can't. But how am I going to ground him? You can't. You got to let him go. But I don't know how to do that. I'm a mom. She was like, I get you. You're at step one. You got to work on you. But I can't breathe. I can't breathe. This is my child. I can't breathe. I know. I've been there. As she's talking to the audience and saying this. But as a parent, you think, I can't fix me if I can't fix her or him. I can't do it. I'd rather just lay down and die with them. And as a lady was talking about her testimony, I would love to tell you that the end results were her, I don't know if it was her son or daughter. Let's just say her son. I can't remember. It's been a long time ago. But I would love to tell you that it ended in recovery. But her story didn't end in recovery for her child. As a matter of fact, I know this lady personally. And I'll say, let me try to think what year that was. Let's see. I heard her testimony before I was married to Shane. I've been with Shane for 11 years. So let's just say 12 years ago, I heard her story. And I actually talked to her the other day, and she's still dealing with her child in addiction. But actually, it's gotten worse. It hasn't gotten better. It's gotten worse. And you learn when you work the program, the things that you say is, when someone calls and says, can I just talk to you? Can I tell you how terrible it is today? I have dealt with this 15, 20 years, and I can't fix my child. And she said that she'll call, and she'll call her sponsor and say, I can't, today's just a bad day. Today's a bad day. And her sponsor listens to her, and her sponsor says, what step are you in? And you always find yourself back at step one, because as a parent, she said, you're always trying to fix it. Maybe if I say this, maybe if I do this, maybe if I threaten, maybe if I never talk to them, like if I go a month without speaking to them, they'll realize it. Okay, let's just pray that they'll go to jail, because jail will fix them. Nope. She said, nope. You're at step one. So tell me today what you're going to do to take care of yourself. Because nothing you can do is going to fix this. And when you're new to the program, These are stories you don't want to hear. You want to hear recovery. And as I sat in the audience listening to this lady, I was trying to, because, like, how I tell you to apply your story, like my story, to something that you're dealing with. So I was trying to apply what she was saying to my own personal life. And I was like, I wanted to hear a success story. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to hear a success story. But the success is that it's a daily walk with her. And to this day, there's no beautiful story. But guess what? After 5 years, she learned how to walk out of the movie. And when I talked to her, she said, Judy, so many times I find myself walking back in the movie theater and watching the horror movie all over again, although I never know how it's going to end. And as I start watching the horror movie and I start screaming, does anybody scared? Does anybody understand? Does anybody get that this is the worst movie I've ever seen in my life? Everyone around you in that movie theater is screaming, shut up. You're crazy. Why are you yelling in the movie theater? Just watch the movie, lady. And she says, I have to get out of the movie. I said, what do you do to get out of the movie? I work my program. I call my sponsor. I go to meetings. I'm at step 1. And I realize instead of telling my story about how terrible it is, I have to talk about what can I do to take care of myself, because I can't fix this. I can't imagine. What the heck? What color is that? What I'm here to tell you is, if you're in a movie theater, and I don't know if it's your spouse, your dad, your mom, yourself, I don't know, your child, if you're in a horror movie, and you've watched the same movie over and over and over, and it's like a dang broken record, like you've seen the same parts over and over. You don't know the ending, but you've seen the same parts over and over and over, and it's the scariest movie you've ever seen in your entire life. And you're like, I do not want to walk back into this movie theater. Like, I'm scared to death. It's freezing cold in there. Everyone is screaming at me. I've seen this same part over and over and over again. I know how this works. I'm becoming an expert at this stupid movie that I'm watching. And you're like that person that goes, I just want to get out of the movie theater. I just want to get out. then you're at step one. It seems exhausting. And I'm not even talking about addiction. It seems exhausting when you have to run after your own recovery because you're like, I ain't the one with the problem. It's this dude over here. He's got the anger issues. He's the one that's a control freak or whatever you're dealing with, whatever horror movie you're watching. You're like, you don't understand. Like, I'm good, but you're not. Because you keep watching the same movie over and over and over and over. The same parts, and you have no idea the ending of the story. You're just sitting in this movie theater with everyone screaming at you that you're crazy, that you don't know what you're talking about. It's all your fault, blah, 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 blah. I'm not. I don't know. Let's just say you're dealing with someone with addiction. I am not high. My gosh, you're just like you exaggerate everything. Oh, here you go again. As if you are, excuse my French, but batshit crazy. And you're like, I know I'm not crazy. I know what I'm seeing. But you get manipulated in the movie theater that you are the crazy one. Shut up. Quit talking. You're in the movie. Watch this horror movie and just keep your mouth closed. No one wants to hear your mouth. And you're like, am I crazy? And you start feeling crazy because you live in a world of a horror movie. And everyone's telling you it's your fault. You're making up crap. You're seeing things. It's a bad place to be in a horror movie. Watching it all alone, freezing cold, and everyone screaming at you to shut up. And you can't talk about it. Because if you talk about it, then you got a big mouth, or quit telling my business, or you have to just sit and shut up in the movie theater. Hang on, I'm plugging in my curling iron. As I do my nappy head, many of us sit in a horror movie every day, and we have no idea. As we become friends with people on social media, we don't know them in person, and we have no idea what they're dealing with because they have to sit and shut up too. They can't open up. They can't tell their business because if such and such found out, they would scream at me for talking about it. It's a nightmare. It's a complete nightmare. How do you get out of the horror movie that you're in? all the PTSD of growing up with maybe parents maybe a spouse, maybe a child. How do you get out of it? I've had a husband in addiction that passed away. I know what it feels like. I know how personally the movie that you're having to watch is the movie theater that you're in is in your own home, and you can't leave the theater, and you have to sit and watch the replay of this horror movie, and you feel all alone. When you live in the house and you can't leave, I know what it feels like. And if you're hurting, I know what it feels like you're just looking for the solution, how to fix them. And I'm going to be that person that's going to tell you that you can't. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, no matter whether you're talking to them or not, you can't fix it. And it sucks. It's a bad place to be. And I know what it feels like to be the big mouth. I know what it feels like to be in the movie theater just like her. And although my situation was different from her, I know what it feels like to not be able to talk about it. But I'm here to tell you that there are places you can talk about it. But if you're looking for the solution to stop it, you may be like I was in the beginning, where I'm like, I just need to know the solution. Just tell me how to fix it and I will do exactly what you say. And they go, that's the problem. You can't. What? Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me right now? I can't fix it. But you can get out of the movie. But I don't want to get out of the movie. I mean, I don't want to get out. I want to fix it. Like I'm a fixer. Like I'm a tough girl. Just tell me what to do. You may tell you what to do. I've never been so serious in my life. This is what you do. I have the solution for you to get out of the movie. You have a choice. You can sit it out and you can stay in the movie theater and you can watch the horror movie, scared to death, not being able to talk and freezing to death in the dark place that it is. And watching the horror movie over and over and over, and it never gets to the end, and you have no clue. You're scared to death it's going to end in death. Like, how am I going to live with that? That's sitting it out. Your solution is to dance. But Judy, how do I dance when it's my own child? You go learn how. You run after your own recovery. You go fix yourself. Quit trying to fix every single person around you, because I'm here to tell you that you can't. You can't fix your spouse. You can't fix your dad. You can't fix your kids. You can't fix your mom. You cannot fix anybody around you, no matter how tough you are. The only person that you can fix is you. And believe it or not, I'm here to tell you right this minute, it feels like that you can't dance because the pain is too much. But I'm here to tell you, with recovery, you can dance no matter who it is. Does that mean every day is going to be easy? No. There's going to be days you want to sit it out. But I'm here to tell you that you have the tools in your pocket. If you go to therapy, if you go to recovery, if you go to Alanon, if you go to these places and run after recovery, you will have tools in your pocket to overcome the days you want to sit it out, and you can dance. The reason I know is because I'm there.